I'm sure they're out there, and I want to find more, and I want to keep doing this, you know, because felt so good from my head to do a project like that. I think that's what all of us are seeking, you know, is like something that makes you happy, and that definitely scratched my itch, you know. My dad was like a US history teacher, so like our house is filled with Native American artifacts and like old Charles Russell books, which he's like an American painter from the West. Like I grew up with watching Lonesome Dove and movies like that, just like old Western movies. And I think now that stuff kind of always like stuck around with me in terms of like inspiration. Like I'm not an oil painter, you know, but like a lot of my illustrations derive from all of my childhood of that sort of stuff. When I was 17, I was like, okay, I want to move to Portland because I see Burnside, I see Mount Hood, I see all these like cool avenues out there of like what I want to do. I applied to this art school and I got in. So I went for like a year, and then finally it was just like, I can't handle this anymore. And I got an opportunity to go down to Santa Cruz and go on a skate trip with the NHS art department. There's a dock behind NHS. And I'd like sit there every morning at 8 a.m. because that's what time everybody has coffee out front, like before work. And then I'm like, hey, like I go to art school. I really like, what can I do to work here? Like I want to work for you. That went on for like probably 2 weeks. And then finally they were like, all right, come in. And then I just started learning so much from Mark and Lee and all those dudes. And yeah, it was just like the coolest time of my life. And then that went on for about a year. Got an internship at Smith Optics, and then kind of learned that 8 to 5 at the desk wasn't for me, and so I've just been freelancing ever since. It was always just a back burner thought. Every time you forget about it and you drive past it again, like, oh fuck, there it is. Don't forget about the one day, you know, and then finally actually made it happen. It was just kind of a shot in the dark, total shot in the dark. I didn't even know if the building was still there. There was so much stoke, like getting there and seeing that my goal was obtainable. That was the most major part, right? Because now it's like, well, at least it's here. It was such a cool placement. It's on top of this hill that overlooks the valley and the highway, and you're just like, god damn, that is neat. There's not a lot of places I've found like that where you can paint and be in an area like that at the same time. There's not people walking by or like asking you questions or coming into a coffee shop, which is great. That's super fun too, but this for me was just another level of like what I like and what I think is cool. And that first night was just like so gnarly in terms of realizing what I kind of got myself into a little bit, that somebody could totally botch this entire experience for you. I wasn't really like chilling out. I was just kind of trying to like fill those lines in and get it done. So the morning times are always really cool. They get to kind of see your progress from the night before. Where at night, you're, like, you know it's gonna look cool, but you don't. It's pitch black except for that projector light. Getting to like step back 100 yards and see what you created was just so neat. Like, unless you're a big mural painter, you don't really get a chance to see that. And so this is kind of a cool way to, you know, not go to the city and get a grant and paint a huge wall downtown where it's like, oh, just go find your own wall in the middle of nowhere. And it was kind of like this cool test thing of kind of figuring out what I love, and the whole process of it was just so fun. And went against all those variables that you're like, this might not work, but it did. There's something to be said about that. And it might not always work, you know, maybe the next 20-hour trip I drive on, it might be a total bust, you know, like that could totally happen, but it was really inspiring for this first one, for it to be successful. So I definitely want to keep on doing things of this nature, but you know, also I would love to work with companies and work with people or whatever, whoever wants to work with me. That would be great.